Today's update is important, especially for seniors, retirees, and anyone living on a fixed income who is trying to make sense of all the noise around stimulus checks, dividend payments, and benefit changes in the United States. There has been renewed discussion around $2,000 dividend-style checks, comments linked to Donald Trump, and how these ideas connect to Social Security, retirement income, and economic relief. This script is designed to calmly explain what is being discussed, what is confirmed, what is not, and why certain groups are being talked about first. Everything here is explained step by step, in clear and simple language, so you can understand how this may affect you or your family. Over the past weeks, many seniors have heard headlines about $2,000 dividend checks confirmed by Trump. For some people, that phrase sounds like an immediate payment is already on the way. For others, it sounds confusing or even suspicious. The truth sits in the middle. What is being discussed is not a traditional stimulus check like those sent out during the pandemic, but rather a proposed dividend-style payment connected to economic policy ideas that have been discussed publicly. These ideas are being framed around helping Americans cope with rising prices, protecting purchasing power, and sharing economic gains more directly with citizens. The word dividend is important here. A dividend is usually a payment made to shareholders from profits. In this political and economic context, the word is being used differently. It refers to the idea that Americans could receive direct payments funded by government revenue streams, trade policies, or economic reforms, rather than emergency pandemic relief. This distinction matters because it affects who might qualify, how often payments could be made, and whether these payments would interact with existing benefits like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits. Donald Trump has publicly spoken about the idea of using revenue generated from tariffs, trade enforcement, or economic growth to return money directly to Americans. In some discussions, this has been described as a dividend to the people. The figure of $2,000 has been mentioned in connection with these ideas, which is why it has captured so much attention. However, it is important to understand that a public statement or campaign proposal does not automatically mean checks are being mailed tomorrow. It means the idea is part of a broader economic plan that would still require legal, administrative, and political steps to become reality. One reason seniors are paying close attention is because many are worried about inflation and rising living costs. Grocery prices, rent, utilities, medical care, and insurance premiums have all increased significantly in recent years. Even with annual cost of living adjustments, many retirees feel that their Social Security checks do not stretch as far as they used to. When talk of a $2,000 payment appears, it naturally raises hope that some relief may be coming. Now let's talk about the phrase "the first group" might surprise you. This part has caused a lot of confusion and speculation. Many people assume that seniors on Social Security would automatically be first in line for any new payment. Others believe low-income households or working families would come first. In the discussion surrounding dividend-style payments, however, the first group being mentioned is not always defined by age alone. Instead, it may be linked to economic participation, tax status, or citizenship status, depending on how such a program would be structured. In some policy discussions, the idea is that taxpayers or households with a clear tax filing history could be the first group considered. This is because the government already has verified information for these individuals, making payments easier to distribute. This does not exclude seniors, but it does mean that retirees who file taxes, even if they own nothing, may be in a better position administratively than those who do not file at all. This is one reason why experts often remind seniors that filing a simple tax return can still be important, even when income is limited. Another possibility being discussed is that people already receiving federal benefits could be among the first groups, because the government already has their banking and mailing information on file. This includes Social Security retirement beneficiaries, SSI recipients, SSDI recipients, and veterans receiving VA benefits. While this has not been formally confirmed, it explains why so many older Americans are paying attention. The existing benefit system could, in theory, be used as a distribution channel for any new dividend-style payment. It is also important to clarify that a $2,000 dividend payment, if approved in the future, would not automatically replace Social Security or reduce monthly benefits unless the law specifically said so. Historically, one-time payments or special relief payments have not counted as regular income for Social Security purposes. However, every new program comes with its own rules, and seniors should always wait for official guidance before assuming how a payment would be treated. Many retirees worry about whether receiving extra money could affect SSI eligibility. SSI is a needs-based program with strict income and asset limits. In past relief programs, special rules were created to prevent one-time payments from immediately disqualifying recipients. Whether similar protections would exist for a future dividend payment would depend entirely on how the law is written. This is why it is so important not to panic or make financial decisions based on rumors alone. Another key issue is timing. Even if a proposal gains momentum, it does not mean payments would arrive quickly. Legislation takes time. Agencies need to prepare systems, verify eligibility, and communicate rules clearly. During the pandemic, it took months from the first discussions to the actual arrival of checks. A dividend-style payment tied to economic policy could take even longer. Still, the discussion itself signals something important. It shows that there is growing recognition that many Americans, especially seniors and retirees, are under financial pressure. Policymakers across the political spectrum are being pushed to think about direct ways to support household income. Whether through tax credits, benefit increases, or dividend-style payments, the goal being discussed is stability and dignity for older Americans. For now, the most practical step seniors can take is to stay informed and organized. Keeping Social Security records up to date, ensuring mailing addresses and direct deposit information are correct, and understanding how current benefits work can make a big difference if new programs are introduced. It is also wise to be cautious about misinformation. Scammers often use headlines about large payments to trick seniors into giving up personal information. Any legitimate payment would be announced clearly through official government channels, not through phone calls or unsolicited messages. As we move into the second part of this script, we will take a closer look at how a $2,000 dividend-style payment could interact with pensions, Social Security, and retirement planning. We will also discuss what seniors should realistically expect, how to prepare financially, and why understanding the difference between confirmed facts and political proposals is essential for peace of mind and long-term security. Now let's continue by focusing on how discussions about a $2,000 dividend-style check connect directly to pensions, Social Security, and long-term financial planning for seniors. This part is especially important because many older adults are not just thinking about a one-time payment, but about stability over the months and years ahead. Understanding how these ideas fit into the bigger picture can help you make calmer, smarter decisions. For retirees who receive Social Security, the monthly check is often the foundation of their income. Some also receive pensions from previous employers, while others rely on savings or part-time work. When a potential $2,000 payment is mentioned, it can feel like a lifeline, but it should always be viewed as supplemental, not permanent income. One-time payments can help cover urgent expenses, pay down debt, or rebuild savings, but they do not replace the need for steady monthly support. If a dividend-style payment were to be approved in the future, it would likely be structured as a separate payment from regular benefits. This matters because Social Security benefits are calculated based on lifetime earnings and adjusted annually through cost of living adjustments. A dividend payment would not change that formula. In other words, it would not increase your monthly Social Security check unless a separate law specifically addressed benefit increases. Pension recipients often ask whether such payments could affect their pension income. In most cases, pensions are contractual benefits based on years of service and salary history. A government-issued dividend payment would not alter those contracts. However, some pensions are means-tested or coordinated with other benefits, which is why it is always wise to review pension plan rules carefully and stay informed through official statements. Another important topic is taxes. Many seniors live on limited incomes and worry about unexpected tax bills. In past relief efforts, special payments were often treated as non-taxable or had specific exclusions. Whether a future dividend payment would be taxable income would depend on how Congress writes the law. Seniors who file taxes should be prepared to review official guidance carefully before assuming whether such a payment needs to be reported. Financial planning experts often emphasize that sudden income, even if welcome, should be handled thoughtfully. For seniors, priorities usually include housing, utilities, food, medical care, and prescription drugs. A one-time payment can help stabilize these essentials, especially during periods of high inflation. Some retirees choose to set aside a portion of any extra money as an emergency fund, which can reduce stress when unexpected expenses arise. It is also important to address expectations. Political discussions and campaign statements are not guarantees. While headlines may say confirmed, confirmation often refers to public acknowledgement of an idea, not the completion of a program. Seniors deserve clarity, not hype. The healthiest approach is to treat such news as a possibility rather than a promise, and to continue budgeting based on income you already receive. One positive aspect of these discussions is that they keep attention on the financial challenges facing older Americans. Even without a new dividend payment, increased awareness can lead to other changes, such as higher cost of living adjustments, expanded tax credits for seniors, or improved access to assistance programs. Sometimes the conversation itself drives progress in ways that are not immediately obvious. Seniors should also be aware of how misinformation spreads. When large dollar amounts are mentioned, scammers often act quickly. They may claim they can help you claim a payment or register you for early access. Legitimate government payments never require upfront fees, gift cards, or sharing personal information over the phone or internet. Staying cautious protects not only your money, but also your peace of mind. Another practical step is staying engaged with trusted sources of information. This includes official letters from government agencies, bank statements, and well-established news updates. Friends, family members, and community organizations can also help seniors verify information before taking action. No one should feel rushed or pressured when it comes to financial decisions. For retirees who feel overwhelmed by constant changes and headlines, it may help to step back and focus on what is within your control. Managing expenses carefully, reviewing benefits annually, and planning ahead for healthcare needs can provide stability regardless of political developments. A possible $2,000 payment, while helpful, should be seen as a bonus rather than the foundation of your financial security. Looking ahead, the idea of dividend-style payments reflects a broader debate about how economic growth should benefit ordinary Americans. Seniors, who have contributed to the economy for decades through work and taxes, are right to expect fairness and respect. Whether through direct payments, stronger benefits, or better protections against inflation, the goal remains the same: allowing older adults to live with dignity and less financial stress. As this discussion continues, patience and clarity are essential. Changes in policy take time, and not every proposal becomes law. What matters most is being informed, cautious, and prepared. By understanding what has actually been said, what is still under discussion, and how potential changes could interact with existing benefits, seniors can avoid unnecessary worry and make decisions based on facts rather than fear. To close, today's discussion about $2,000 dividend checks highlights both hope and responsibility. Hope, because leaders are openly talking about ways to support Americans during challenging economic times. Responsibility, because each of us must separate confirmed information from speculation and protect ourselves from misinformation. By staying informed, organized, and calm, older adults can navigate these conversations with confidence and focus on what truly matters: maintaining stability, protecting health, and preserving peace of mind in retirement.